I am Reverend Israel Bufardi. I use he, him for pronouns, and I'm the minister here. And out. There you go. Now you can hear me. Let the room hold you for a second. Just take it in. Take in this room not as a crowd or as an audience, but as a gathering of people, as a village in the making. A bunch of separate lives choosing to share 1 hour, and perhaps something more. So if it fits you, take a moment to greet those who you've come into community with, that you are building this village with. A nod, a wave, even just a quiet good morning. Our theme this month is risking love. Love as a practice. Today we're treating worship like that, like a rehearsal for risking love, a place to practice being human together, especially when the week has been a lot. So now let's let the music do what words can't. Let it gather us and let it take us further into this time together. Let it help us arrive.
Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Fellowship of Huntington. I'm Trudy Delaney, your worship associate this morning, and my pronouns are like improv, there are no wrong answers. I made that joke before the theme changed. If you're visiting today, I'm really glad you found your way here. New spaces can feel like a lot. Here, there's no test and no script you have to get right, you simply arrive. Sing or listen, stand or stay seated for hymns, step out for a breath if you need to, and come back when you're ready. A word about who we are. Unitarian Universalists are people of many beliefs, held together by a shared promise about how we'll be with one another. We try to tell the truth with care, repair when we miss, and practice a love sturdy enough for real life. We're here to make community, not just attend it. 2 quick notes for today. After time for all ages, our children will head to religious education. And you should have received a Moments of the Heart index card as you came in. Later in the service, you'll be invited to use it to share a joy or a sorrow. If you still need one, just raise your hand and we'll make sure you have what you need. Now we share some announcements because community doesn't happen by wishing for it. This is one of the ways the village becomes visible, places to show up, ways to help, invitations to belong, one real step at a time. Please note that the office is closed today. You can also join Maria Adcock at the table after service to learn about her book, It's Chinese New Year, Curious George, and make a lantern craft. Now we'll light our chalice. In Unitarian Universalist communities, we light a flaming chalice as a symbol of our shared search for truth and our shared commitment to one another. It's a small flame that draws us back to a shared center. Adrienne Marie Brown writes, "What we practice at the small scale sets the patterns for the whole system. May this flame remind us what we practice here matters. May it steady us, make room for courage, and help us keep choosing each other."
I'm going to add one just little correction to the announcements. I'm sorry. The office is closed this week. The office is closed this week, and if you need to get in contact with anyone, check the flash. It will tell you who to contact. I don't have it in front of me. I'm sorry. But we are checking the messages and on the phone once a day during the week. So if there's something urgent that comes in, it will find the person that it needs to. Don't worry. I invite you to come into worship now fully this morning, or as fully as you can this morning, because we come in carrying real lives, our real lives. Some of us are walking around with many questions, big questions right now. What can one person do? What can I do? How do we stay tender without burning out? How do we keep choosing each other when so much around us tells us to go it alone? And so we're here to practice being together, to practice telling the truth with care, to practice being a people, a village, not a collection of separate projects on our own. And because our bodies, our physical presence is part of this being together, let's begin with a hymn, with song, with singing together. And maybe even a little movement if that suits you, but it's okay if it doesn't. We are going to sing. We're going to sing, not perform. We're going to sing our hymn, Let It Be a Dance, to remember that we can move together whether we're doing it physically or not, that we can take one honest step to do the next right thing, and that we can dare. We must dare to dance again. Let's sing. You can sit or stand, whatever feels right to you. Let's sing. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Let a dancing song be heard. Play the music, say the word, and fill the sky with sailing birds. Let it be a dance. Be a dance, let it be a dance. Learn to follow, learn to lead. Feel the rhythm, feel the need. To reap the harvest, plant the seed. Let it be a dance. A dance. passes by. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. This dance with you. The good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance, be a dance. Hopefully that helps some of you wake up a little, come into your body, come into the room. I saw you all swaying a little bit in rhythm together there at the end. Before our children head to religious education this morning, I wanted us all to see something that they made. Could you hold up a few of those cards, the things that you see there, just kind of, or maybe so that people can see them? These are cards that our kids made in religious education for Unitarian Universalist congregations in the Twin Cities. And I'm going to ship them out later. I'm going to find a place to ship them today, not the post office. So they are covered, many of them are covered in hearts, I think because it's Valentine's month. But because our kids understand something, I think, that maybe us adults forget sometimes. That hearts aren't only for romance. A heart is a very important and very powerful way of saying to someone that you matter to me. And as I send them on their way, it almost feels perhaps not old-fashioned to me to send them this way. But I think it's really beautiful and connective to be able to send these things, something physical, not just a message. A physical thing that they can hold. Because I think the mail is basically the original social network. Slower, with less yelling, and better drawings. And the reason we're sending them is very simple. We want our UU friends in the Twin Cities to feel less alone. Even as things are changing, and maybe people, some attention might turn away from their city. We want them to know that they're less alone. Not with something grand or a huge gesture or vague good intentions, but with something physical that they can hold. Love that knows the address, that you can put a stamp on. I also love that, that these things are hand-drawn. I think that's really beautiful, that actual act of human care and human touch, too, to put onto that card. So I want to ask you all maybe a question right before the kids go, if you want to answer. Adults and kids, anyone in the room. If you've ever gotten a piece of mail, like a card or something, on a birthday, or even just a piece of mail, something from someone, during a week that was hard, what has it done for you? Anything? Or what it lifts your spirit? Yeah, it makes you smile. What else? Makes you feel good. Yeah. And you know what? Some days that might not seem like enough, and some days it is. I think maybe some days it can help you to feel brave again, too. It can even remind you to breathe, remind you that you're not alone. This might seem like a small thing, but it is one of the ways that we rehearse the world that we dream about, that we practice being a village, that we practice being kind to people so they don't disappear from each other's lives when the moment passes. So now, since these cards are going to go out into the world, I want to just offer a very simple blessing for them before they do. May they travel safely. May these cards arrive like a small hand on a shoulder or like a hug or a wave. May the people who open them feel seen and steadied and remembered. May our kids, those of you who made these cards, know that your care matters, and may all of you know that too. And may we keep practicing this kind of love. Thank you for making these together. You're helping all of us practice what we say that we believe. And now, you are invited to head out to religious education you're going to be in the social hall today. And as you go, so here I have a new send-off that I've written, and I'm going to read the top part, and I just invite anyone who wishes to say the last line with me where it says congregation, okay? We send you with love. Go enjoy. We'll see you soon. You belong to this community, whether you're in this room or whether you're out in another one. May you learn and play and know that you are held in care. We send you with love. You're invited to head out now. You all just take a breath with me one more time. Feel yourselves in this room together today. There is a scene that I keep returning to in my own head. Something that I've experienced recently, and maybe you have. It's the end of a march, or a vigil, or a meeting where people showed up because they have a conscience. The cardboard signs have started to get maybe a little bit soft and creased around the edges. And, excuse me, a little bit creased around the edges. And somebody has glitter on their cheeks, I think, that they did not plan for. And then somebody makes this joke to you, this strange joke. And you know that they're doing it just so they can keep from crying after this moment, after this experience that they had. And so you laugh, maybe harder than the joke deserves, because it makes you feel connected to that person. But then you get to the edge of the parking lot, the moment where the crowd starts to thin out. A few people hug. Somebody says, "Text me," and they both know that they might forget. People start to peel away in their cars, and the night takes the rest. And then the week shows up with all those demands that we know we have, calendar alerts and the chores and the notifications. And if you know this kind of, I might call it whiplash, you might also know the ache that lies underneath it. It's not only sadness. I think it's maybe a type of disorientation. Because for an hour or two, you could actually feel the we, what we feels like. You could see what democracy looks like. But then you're back in solitary land, in me land. And I'll say that I've been there, staring into my refrigerator in those moments, thinking, okay, now what? What's the plan? A crowd can be powerful. But I think that what we are hungry for is what happens after the crowd thins. We're singing Blue Boat Home at the end of this service today. And because we're singing that song, I'm just going to borrow a boat word for a moment. Crew, like the rowing kind. So a crew, as in a team of people rowing together in unison. I'm not sure what's causing this right now. Okay. A crew as in a group of people rowing in unison, but the thing is that doesn't mean, it means coordination. Let me just, okay. How about, I'm on the pulpit mic. Sound crew. There you go. Hey, it worked. Okay, let's try this again. A crew isn't about everybody thinking the same thing or about hierarchy or about one person telling everyone else what to do. It's not that. I suggest this morning that a crew, in the way that I'm using it today, is a group of people who are practiced enough in each other's presence so that they can move together when it matters. Who are practiced enough, there we go, who are practiced enough in another's presence so that they can move together when it matters. That's what I mean by a village, too. A village is much more than that, too. It's much more just than somebody will bring you soup when you're sick, although we do that. A village is, are there enough relationships, habits, shared places holding us together so that we can respond when things get hard? And we can shape what happens next. In that way, a village is about the social infrastructure, sacred engineering, if you will, if you want that language, the slow building of patterns that make safety, dignity, and human possibility more likely too. And that's where this theme, our monthly theme of risking love, comes in and matters right now. Because becoming a crew, in the way that I'm describing, isn't about taking a dramatic leap necessarily. It is a series of small risks that add up. Being known instead of being impressive. Showing up, asking for something instead of hinting at what you need, and offering something specific to someone. And I'll say more about that in a few minutes. But most importantly, showing up again and again. Now, I just gave you a to-do list, right? Some of you in the room, tired this morning, are thinking this when you hear me say village and community. You might be translating it into work, more responsibility, something else to worry about. And the truth is, sometimes being a village is a little bit of work. Being in community is work. But, also, community is what keeps the work from harming those who do it. Here's something that I want to say. In 2023, the Surgeon General put out an advisory about loneliness and social connection. The point was that disconnection shows up physically in us. And that's to say that it is not a moral failing of anyone if you are feeling disconnected. It is a public health issue, not a private embarrassment. But it is more than that, too. It's more than what the Surgeon General is telling us. It's bigger than health, because loneliness doesn't only threaten our feelings. It threatens our capacity to do good in the world, to connect with each other. As I have said before, but I'll say it again, a lonely person is easier to scare, exhaust, and dominate. A crew, however, is much harder to intimidate, a crew in the village sense. But if you want to see how village scales beyond support, beyond comfort, beyond what I have often said, kindness that counts, I want to take you back now for a second to Chicago, a story from Chicago from 1995. If anyone happens to remember this story or has read about it, there was a heat wave that summer, that killed more than 700 people. There was a researcher whose name was Eric Klinenberg who studied this heat wave because there was something strange to him that happened in Chicago. He found that when he compared neighborhoods where there were more likely to be fatalities because of the heat wave, he found that two neighborhoods could actually have similar economic levels, like demographics, similar levels of poverty even, and still have two very different outcomes. In one neighborhood, people were isolated because there weren't a lot of public spaces, a lot of those third spaces, if you've ever heard that term before, places where people gather outside of work and school. And in these neighborhoods, a lot of the storefronts were boarded up if it was a lower income neighborhood, and people stayed inside because the street didn't feel safe or because there just weren't many places to walk or hang out. And people were much more likely to have negative outcomes in that neighborhood. Why? Because people were alone in their apartments and no one noticed that they were missing. But in another neighborhood where there were book clubs, churches, corner stores, and where everyday public life, where people actually noticed each other and ran into each other and therefore checked in on each other, even if they intended to or not. And Klinenberg calls this difference social infrastructure, and not just pipes and wires, is what they said. I might call it the human connective tissue. It's not just emotional support, it's shaping the conditions of daily life for the holistic well-being of society, let's say. And I think that we in this country tend to underinvest in the shared spaces that pull people into public life, like libraries, senior centers, parks, community gardens, all of those things. Not that we don't have them. We have them. We have one here, a garden. But places that can turn strangers into regulars is what I'm talking about and what matters. Into people who notice when someone is struggling. Which brings me back to why I'm using the word crew today. Because crews have the ability to coordinate. Coordinated, like people who know each other well enough to move towards something when it matters. People who have practiced enough trust that help can travel quickly when it needs to. People who have built enough shared habit so that the burden doesn't always land on the same exhausted shoulders. And there's another reason, too, that I'm using this word today. Because crews also have defined roles. There's specific things that people do in crews. And specific roles, I believe, and also from research shows that they can save us from burnout in villages. So not when everyone just shows up and says, I'm here to help, but when they show up and they know what they're doing. Because in a village, and here's the important part, the idea of being on a crew or being in a village might feel like work. But in a village, in a crew, you don't have to do everything by yourself. That's the whole point, but you have to be something. And sometimes, too, in a hard season in your life, whether that be a month, a year, a decade, the most honest something that you can be, that you need to be to show up and be on the crew in a village, is to show up and be a person who lets other people help them, which might be harder for some people than actually helping. So if your energy is low and you're hearing me talk this morning and you just feel like you want to go back to bed, if your life is in triage and risking love to you today, or in this season might feel something like admitting I could use a ride. I could use someone to sit with me at coffee hour because I don't feel like being alone today. I could use one afternoon where I don't have to be brave. Receiving is part of being a villager too, is part of being on the crew. It's one of the most important ways that this becomes real. And yes, for those of you who do have the extra capacity to do something right now, risking love is not about being everyone's everything. Because what I was saying before about roles being specific in crews is that vague care burns us out, I think. But specific care that is planned and coordinated can be shared, and we know what's what. Like I said, we have one structure for that here. It's called care share. Where's my care share people in the room? Anybody? Anyone in the room? There's one. That's one of the ways we do it here. We call it care share because it's a place where needs can actually be named and asked for, and we can say what we can offer. And we can offer it without somebody having to perform the need. And excuse me. I need to name that there's a shadow side to what villages can do too, to what being on a crew can do. When a crew becomes a mob or a cabal of some sort. Because a village can be both comfort and a warning. I think that we've all seen in public life how institutions can decide that reputation matters more than a person's body or agency. How the price of belonging in those kinds of crews becomes don't make trouble. How networks of powerful men can protect each other around sexual harm. If your mind goes somewhere today to the way that wealth can build a fortress around abuse and to what wealth can bury, you are not alone in feeling that this morning. And that's exactly why one of the most important parts of being on a crew, of being in a village, is consent by association and accountability, not blind loyalty. Being in a village with people is not entitlement to each other. It's certainly not access without consent. It's chosen care, at will, with boundaries and truth-telling that makes repair possible when it happens, when harm is caused. And I say this because I know that our kids are watching what is going on, and even if they don't know the whole story, they're watching. And if anyone, I don't have sons, I have 2 daughters, but if anyone has a son, they're watching too. They're learning what gets rewarded and what gets excused and what gets laughed off. The picture of masculinity that is presented by this kind of a crew packages entitlement as virtue. There's no other way to say it, and contempt as a sort of confidence. And this is, yes, unimaginably damaging. If it turns your stomach to watch this kind of a crew in public, you're not overreacting. You're just paying attention. And it harms all of our children, whether they be girls or boys. It shrinks their humanity down to a narrow hallway where there's no room to be tender, no room to ask for help, no room to fail and come back. So if we're going to talk about being on a crew this morning, being a part of a village, let's say it as a commitment too. We will teach association by consent as a spiritual practice. We will teach accountability as one of our greatest strengths. We will teach that gentleness is not weakness, that power is for protection, not possession. So I want to zoom back out now for a moment, but let's just take a breath. To the biggest sales pitch, America's loudest sales pitch right now. That when things feel safe, you must isolate. When things feel unstable, you must hoard things for yourself. And when you feel afraid, tighten your circle until it becomes a bunker. That approach is not just morally reprehensible, it's also strategically self-defeating. Isolation makes no one safer. It only makes people more ruled by fear, because a lonely person can be terrified into silence. And we know that a crew, I said before, a village is harder to intimidate, to isolate. It means that the load is carried differently, not just shared in theory. It means, too, that we don't have to live in a permanent flinch, trying to be self-sufficient in a world that's been carved up for profit and control, and not, certainly, for human-scale belonging. So when I have referred to this service earlier, or in the newsletter, as rehearsing the new world. What I mean is this: under stress, we default to what we know, to what we've practiced, to what we see. And so we practice, therefore, showing up together and telling the truth with other people in the room about the way things are, even when it's hard. And yes, we practice singing and dancing together too, which, even if you think you are terrible at either, it is weirdly powerful way to remember that you have lungs and neighbors at the same time. That's why we're here, not because this time is an escape from reality. It's a training for a new reality. We practice coming back, not to perfection, not to thinking that we can fix every problem in the world in this room, but just to each other, to what it means to be together in this kind of a way. Rehearsing for the new world can sound dramatic, but I do think it's made out of muscle memory first. In a few minutes, we're going to sing Blue Boat Home. We have some more stuff to do first. For anyone who doesn't know it, it's one of our hymns that is very beloved, and it tells the truth gently in a similar way. Life is wide and beautiful, and often very little of it is under our control. And still, we are all in the same vessel on it. We're already in the same boat. You've heard that phrase before, but the only question is whether we are going to pretend that we are rowing alone, or whether we are going to look up and realize that we've got a crew. So here's my invitation to you this week, this morning, in the coming days. Risk one act of love that helps you move from being a crowd to a crew. If you have energy, offer something specific. If you don't, find a way to ask for something specific if you can. If you can do neither, show up and let yourself be seen when you need to. Our aim here together is simple: that you'll leave more grounded than you arrived and less alone. So that when the crowd thins, you'll have something sturdier than a memory. You'll have each other. So we're going to move ourselves into moments of the heart now, which I put at the end of the sermon this week. Because I've been talking about what it means, I think, to move from a crowd to a crew, from wishing for a village to practicing it. And I think this is one of the most important ways that we actually practice it on a Sunday. Like I said, not performing community, but just by letting real life be in the same room and letting it be held. If you got an index card, if you haven't written on it yet and you want to read it, you want me to read it aloud, I invite you to bring it up in a moment. And what goes on those cards are the joys, sorrows, and complex truths that you all carry, that I know that we all carry in our hearts. We're going to practice witnessing each other now. If you feel moved to bring one of those cards up during the song, I invite you to do so. And you could also light a candle too. Excuse me. One thing I forgot to say, which was so important, is who is receiving your cards when you came up to bring them. That was Mary Bly, one of our pastoral care associates, and we have a team of people here. We don't just receive these in a basket, we read them. And if there are needs here in these, we respond to them in the ways that we have the capacity to do. That is very important. That is so important. That is what it means to be a part of a community, to be a part of a village. Here's what we are holding today, what we are witnessing, what we are being present to in this room. I have two names on this card. They asked me to read these names aloud: Renee Good and Alex Pretty. Prayer for this person's brother-in-law who died this week at age 92. He is mourned by his wife and daughter and son. Thankful for the many crews we have here. This morning, especially thankful for our kitchen crew. Coffee for us each week like magic, yes. This is for Milt's brother, Bob Masur, who passed away. Feeling great love for this community and everyone in it. So grateful for all of you. There's a heart too. We hold our dear sweet Maria and her in her tummy in our hearts. Please help my wonderful broken family heal. Thank you, says this card. And to those who are lonely, if you are here, you are not alone. Reach out. Please, please. A card here that says, please pray for Sam Sawirda's, I'm sorry, Sam. Did I say your name right? Yeah, Sam Sawirda's father, who is recovering from a stroke. The flu and the flu at the same time. I think we need another breath together this morning. May what's heavy here be carried in company. May what's tender be protected with care. May what's joyous be welcomed without guilt. And may all of us keep learning the courage of asking, the generosity of offering, and the steadiness of showing up and being present to one another again and again. And now, because you've had a lot of words this morning, we sing. Because sometimes we need another shared breath in a different way, more than we need more words. So let's sing together. Spirit of Life, it's right there on your screen.
come now to the offering. In a time when it's easy to feel like we've each been carrying our own separate load, giving is one way we practice being a people. It keeps this congregation steady and real and helps turn our values into something you can actually lean on. This month, we share the plate with the Huntington branch of NAACP, who continue the long local work of civil rights, advocacy, and community organizing, protecting dignity, challenging discrimination, and helping build a Huntington where freedom is real for everyone. Before we receive the offering, we have a quick word from Ginger O'Neill, who's here to share what your generosity made possible through one of our past Share the Plate partners. Ginger?
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. Real quick, I just wanted to say, as a crew, our congregation was able to give some of the split plate, totaling about 1,800 over that, to Pronto in September. And just a quick report, that goes a really long way to people that do not have food at home or are in isolation and need English classes or citizenship classes or legal help. So because of the way we leverage donations, we were able to take $25 per cart and give it to a family for 3 days. So the cart will be full of grains, proteins, dairy, and vegetables, fresh vegetables, and canned vegetables. So for $25 for maybe 4 people in the household for 3 days. So 1,800, which came from all you folks as part of the split plate, served about 72 families. And that's just incredible because the need has grown. In the past 4 years, we used to say, on all my grant proposals, I used to say, we serve 5,000 people a month, 4 years ago. Now we're serving 10,000 people a month. So I'm so proud to be a part of this congregation because you guys are a crew, you are making a difference, and it's just amazing. And I thank you on behalf of Pronto. I was the Director of Program Development. I actually left in December and I'm working elsewhere, but I'm just here to report on that, and I thank you so much. One quick thing for SAF. SAF is a student activity fund, and that is opening March 1st, registration. Students that are eligible, rising seniors, and anyone under the age of 25 that are students or in a gap year. And what we do is we match up the students with wherever they want to work in a nonprofit, and LIAC and the UUFH program at Shelter Rock pays them for their hours so they could do meaningful work, learn how to have their first employment experience, and also help nonprofits. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Ginger. We receive the offering now. As the offering is received, we sing hymn 1064, Blue Boat Home, a reminder that we're in the same boat and we don't have to do any of this alone. Thank you for your generosity.
as you go from here today, remember this, that love is not a feeling, it's a way of showing up. It's asking for help before you're underwater and offering help without becoming a hero. May you be gentle with yourselves this week. May you know when to rest, and may you know when to reach. And may you feel in small ways and in real ways that you're not doing any of this alone. Go in peace.